What if the biggest mistake of your life was one you didn't even realize you were making? Every choice, every effort shapes your future. But are you building something you'll be proud of or something you'll regret? Stay till the end. This story will change the way you see everything. Once upon a time, in a quiet village of Nivara, nestled at the edge of the vast and whispering Zendayu, lived an old carpenter named Yoku. His hands, once young and nimble, had spent decades shaping wood into homes that stood as testaments to patience, love, and devotion. People traveled from distant towns to seek his craftsmanship, for they knew that a house built by Yoku was more than just shelter. It was a sanctuary. But time, relentless and unforgiving, had caught up with him. His once strong fingers trembled, his back ached, and his heart yearned for rest. The fire of creation that had burned so brightly in his soul now flickered like the last embers of a dying flame. He is now about to retire from his once prized profession. One evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, his longtime patron, a wealthy merchant, approached him with a final request. "Yoku," the merchant said, his voice laced with familiarity and respect. "I know you are ready to lay down your tools, but I have one last commission for you. Build me one final house." The words weighed heavily on Yoku's shoulders. He had given so much of himself to his craft, and now all he wanted was peace. Yet the look in the merchant's eyes made refusal impossible. With a heavy sigh, he nodded. "I will do it," he said, though his heart was not in it. But something was different this time. His heart, once so full of passion, was now weary. The work felt like a burden rather than a joy. For the first time in his life, he cut corners. He used cheaper wood, nails that weren't properly fastened, beams that weren't perfectly aligned. The polish was rough, the doors creaked, the walls whispered of carelessness. His hands, once guided by love, now moved only to finish. And finish he did. When the house stood complete, he barely looked at it. He was done. It was not his finest work, but it was work nonetheless. The merchant returned, his eyes scanning the structure. A small, knowing smile curved his lips as he turned to Yoku and extended a small wooden box. "This house," he said, "is my gift to you. It is yours to live in for the rest of your days." Yoku's breath caught in his throat. His fingers tightened around the box, his heart pounding against his ribs. Slowly, he turned to look at the house, really look at it. And then, a wave of regret crashed over him. Had he known this house was to be his, he would have built it differently. He would have chosen the finest wood, carved the doors with care, ensured every joint was flawless. Instead, he was left with a house that reflected not his lifelong dedication, but his single moment of apathy. His voice wavered. "Had I known, I would have built it with all my love and care." The merchant placed a hand on his shoulder, his eyes filled with wisdom. "Every task we do in life, Yoku, is like building a house. How we build it determines how we will live in it." Yoku nodded, but the weight of the lesson settled deep in his bones. That night, he sat alone in the home he had built, not just with his hands, but with his choices. And for the first time in his long, storied life, he wished he could start again. You see, friends, every effort you make is a reflection of your own integrity. The work you do today shapes the life you will live tomorrow. Give your best, work with purpose, build with care, because in the end, you must live in what you create. Take a moment to reflect on the house you are building in your own life today. Are you giving your best effort in your work, relationships, and personal growth? Each decision, each action, is a brick in the foundation of your future. Start today. Build with intention, passion, and excellence. Because one day, you will live in what you create. Thanks for watching. Always stay blessed.